Conor McGregor faces another scandal after last week knocking someone out at a nightclub, and now he is facing 10 years in prison for perjury allegations. This all has to do with the Conor McGregor and Nikita Hand sexual assault lawsuit that took place last year, where Conor McGregor was found liable for sexual assault. And since then, Conor McGregor has vowed and said he wants to appeal this thing, right? He says that he is in the right. He doesn't believe that he should have been found liable for sexual assault. He claims up and down he has maintained this whole time he is innocent. And through him, going through different types of appeals, he found himself in bigger trouble because he might have cooked himself a really big scandal here, because if this is true, Conor McGregor could face 10 years in prison. Apparently, he might have lied on one of these documents. Now, like I said, this whole thing stems from the Conor McGregor and Nikita Hand lawsuit that took place last year, one of the biggest news stories in Ireland last year. Conor McGregor and Nikita Hand went out partying all night, and Hand later alleged that night Conor McGregor sexually assaulted her, choked her, and forced her to apparently have sex. She said that she was panicked. She thought that she would never see her daughter again. She just felt attacked. That same day, she went to the hospital with her mom and her partner, got a rape kit done, and there's a lot of physical evidence that we're going to get into. There was the extensive bruising, the testimony of different doctors, therapists, and even a paramedic coming out saying in her career that she had never seen bruising that bad, that this looked like she had been brutally beaten. The biggest detail of them all was the fact that Nikita Hand apparently was using a tampon during the sexual assault, and that it had to be removed using surgical tools. Obviously, that wouldn't be the actions of somebody that is having consensual sex. So right there, that is some pretty big evidence against Conor McGregor. But Conor McGregor's defense team hit back with some texts between him and Nikita Hand where they were, texting very flirty, talking about having sex, talking about the night out that they were going to have. One of the biggest pieces of evidence for Conor was the testimony of James Lawrence and Danielle Keeley, where Danielle Keeley was a friend of Nikita Hand and went to this night out, and she testified that she did not hear anything, that, Nikita didn't seem off, and seemingly didn't think that Nikita was telling the truth. And this is her own friend. James Lawrence, a friend of Conor McGregor, was also there and said nothing seemed off, and a matter of fact testified to the fact that he had sex with Nikita Hand after Conor McGregor left the hotel. In the end, as you guys know, the jury did decide to go with Nikita Hand and thought that Conor McGregor, should have been found liable for the sexual assault of Nikita Hand, which is something that I agree with. I think that is what should have happened, because when you're looking at a civil lawsuit, something that is supposed to be 50-50, that's how you judge it. This isn't like a criminal case where you have to have so much evidence. This really is just what most likely happened. Now, after losing, like I said, Conor McGregor immediately, protested this decision and said he was going to appeal, put out a statement on his Twitter, and was just not happy. Some of his appeals are still ongoing. Like, one of them is the fact that the jury should have considered this an assault and not a sexual assault, right? And that one's a bit confusing. Like, I don't even know how this would be considered not a sexual assault. There was sex involved. That seems pretty clear cut. The other appeal was about Nikita Hand's lawyer's lines of questioning towards police during the trial about Conor McGregor saying no comment and those being his answers, because they were a little bit misleading, because while Conor McGregor did initially give no comment, he later gave a written comment, and they felt like that was a bit, misleading for the jury, kind of trying to say that Conor was not cooperative when he just later gave a statement. But those two are still ongoing and they are proceeding, so we'll see where those go. I mean, I don't have, I don't think those are really going anywhere, if we're going to be honest, but there was another one that got dropped. This was an appeal that has now landed Conor McGregor in a big amount of trouble. Conor McGregor's legal team submitted 2 new affidavits to the courts. These were, from Nikita's former neighbors, 2 former neighbors that alleged that the night and morning, because keep in mind, this started from, December 9th that night to December 10th in the morning, that at some point that they heard Nikita Hand's ex-boyfriend abuse her, beat her up. And this could be a possible reason for the bruising. If they're going to say maybe Nikita Hand's boyfriend was abusive, right? Maybe that, Nikita Hand came out from a long night of partying. Keep in mind, she even testified that she was lying to her partner. It makes sense that Conor's legal team wants to probably say that it is from the ex-boyfriend, and that she maybe came home and then decided to blame it on McGregor, maybe because of money or whatever their excuse would be. And while it seemed like Conor McGregor would finally get his first W since 2020, Conor's team out of nowhere withdrew the paperwork, withdrew the affidavit, and said that there was admissibility issues, which raised some massive red flags. That is something that is not just cool to do. You can't just submit something into court and be like, yeah, never mind about that. If Conor McGregor submitted these affidavits knowing that they were false, knowing that, there were lies in there, or even even actually help them lie or encourage them to lie, that is some big trouble. That is some perjury. That is some subordination. And Nikita Hand's lawyer pointed this out and said that Conor should be investigated, and the judge absolutely agreed, and they seem to be taking this matter serious. So, I mean, to me, I don't think this is something you could easily do. To me, this looks like that Conor McGregor went out there to try to push a narrative using the court system, trying to say, look, there's this new evidence that popped up where now it seems like that Nikita's ex-boyfriend beat her up, and it wasn't me, guys. This would be a perfect solution for everything. And I mean, hey, it's in court documents. It has to be legit, right? But it's not true at all. This doesn't have any legitimacy anymore. I mean, the fact that there was affidavits behind it, the fact that people are testifying about it, I mean, the fact that it was after the lawsuit's already a bit of a red flag. But now the fact that they've just been completely withdrawn, it really just seems like Conor McGregor is playing dirty with Nikita Hand. And that is something that you have to feel bad for Nikita, because if you believe Nikita is a victim, assuming that you're not one of those people that think Nikita is just fully lying about this whole thing, it just seems like Conor McGregor at every attempt is just trying to slander her name. It is July. I mean, it is about to be 1 full year since this whole lawsuit wrapped up. It wrapped up, I believe, in December of last year. And we're still talking about this. We're still going through appeals. I'm sure every time there's appeal, Nikita has to pay these lawyers. I mean, she only got paid $200K, guys. I mean, Conor McGregor, look at how much money he has made in his career. Like, this isn't worth $200K. Like, this is not $200K's worth. Now getting harassed, getting, hit with more legal fees, having to run through a million appeals, because Conor is going to try to appeal this thing, I'm sure, until there's no more ends. He has, unlimited money to do so. And it just isn't fair to Nikita. So I don't know. We'll see what happens next. I don't know when this will finally just wrap up, because, we talked about this at the time. This is going to be a big stain on Conor's legacy. I think a lot of people, including myself, someone that was a fan of Conor, I can't look at Conor the same after this, guys. I mean, this is some crazy allegations and some crazy proof. I mean, seriously, there's just been one too many things with Conor, guys. Conor has now had so many scandals. Nikita Hand is a liar and a fraud. Conor is innocent. I mean, like I said, there is a huge amount of people that believe Nikita Hand is not telling the truth. But I do think at the end of the day, if most people, I think, are, especially as time goes on, seeing Conor as guilty. There isn't as many people as there was, especially back then, that believe Conor's innocent. We'll see how much that affects, if he ever even fights again. I mean, how does it affect pay-per-views? How does it affect this? How does it affect, people wanting to market him? Is it going to be controversial? Who knows? Then you see people saying Conor seems like a POS, or lock this narcissist up and toss the key. He guilty AF and just face palms. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if he gets thrown in jail at some point, because this could seriously happen. I think there's something to this. Ultimately, though, we will have to see. And Conor McGregor is expected to be at a BKFC press conference tomorrow, so we will see him in public after this whole scandal. BKFC posted this poster online of Conor McGregor, basically, I guess, being like the moderator of this upcoming press conference. Obviously, Conor McGregor has heavy ties to BKFC, and this is supposed to be taking place tomorrow, but it says the Champions Summit is going down July 10th at the Hard Rock Holly, featuring at Notorious MMA, which is Conor McGregor, plus all BKFC World, UK, and European champions, and has a whole bunch of fighters listed. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my last video where I predicted the rest of the pay-per-views of 2025 and gave all the main events, the last 5 pay-per-views. It was an interesting video. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.